This is Samantha Prowse-Holmes, the head coach of the Amityville girls basketball team, and you're watching the Tide Basketball on the Amityville Broadcasting Network.
Welcome to the Amityville Tide Basketball pregame show on the Amityville Broadcasting Network.
And a good evening and welcome here on this Wednesday evening, and thank you so much for joining us on the Amityville Broadcasting Network. It is a Wednesday evening contest between the Amityville Tide and the Eastport South Manor Sharks. Matt Grice and Justice Wright on tonight's broadcast, and this should be a lot of fun. It's a very important game for this Tide team as they look to get back in the winning column. Amityville comes in 1-9 overall, but 0-8 in league play. Meanwhile, the Sharks enter with a record of 2-9 overall, 1-7 in league play, and not for nothing, you don't want to end up in the basement of the standings of League 4. Obviously, you want to try to get into the playoffs, but this is a team that's building. New coach, Sammy Perhalis-Holmes. They're moving forward, and this is a game that could determine who's going to finish in last and who's not going to finish in last in this year's standings. Once again, thank you so much for joining us here on Wednesday night. Justice, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. I'm ready for an exciting game between two very competitive teams. We'll see if we can get a nice competitive game with a lot of effort tonight. As we know, that's something that a trend that we've seen between both teams, especially Amityville. Effort is, if they can come with the effort, they can compete with almost any of these teams. But when they lack that effort, that's when we start to see them fall behind early or later in the game, and they end up losing by a significant deficit.
Amityville does have talent and balance across the team, and you and I have addressed this beforehand. It's just that we haven't seen it all at the same time.
You're right.
And we can go up and down this roster, and we're going to talk about Amityville's last game, a loss at Hauppauge in just a moment from this past Monday. But if you look up and down their roster, you have players like Natalia Baptiste, who has been here since she's been in 8th grade. She's an excellent player. She can score, she can defend, she can bring energy and excitement. Jada Chapman, 30-point game recently. Hampton, who we're going to talk about more in a moment, she can be hot and cold, but we haven't seen them all connect at the same time.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. If this team gets going and they all start moving like a well-oiled machine, I mean, the sky's the limit with this team. There's, like you said, a lot of potential, and there's a lot of experienced players on this roster, a lot of upperclassmen. So these guys have been in this position before. It's about, can they execute when the time is right?
So let's break down Amityville's last contest again versus Hauppauge this past Monday. They traveled to Hauppauge, and one of the things that Coach Perhalis-Holmes talked about is getting off to a fast start. And that's a theme. We have the boys' game tomorrow. It's a common theme in all of these games. You want to hit the court running. And they did a good job last game in getting off to a fast start.
Yeah, they did. In fact, last game, they scored 17 points in the first quarter, and Hauppauge scored 22. But then the second quarter, they only scored 6 compared to Hauppauge scoring 20. Same thing with the third quarter, they only scored 9 points. So we start to see that even though they start off hot, if they can't keep that momentum, they can fall behind early, and 72-42 with the final score of that last game. So with the 5-point first quarter, losing by 30 is a really big deficit.
It is, and it shows you that inconsistency again. If you can put up 17 in quarter number 1, what happened? Did you run out of gas? A couple of games ago, Amityville got into a lot of foul trouble. Natalia Baptiste fouled out. Across the board, it was very difficult to sustain anything offensively. So this team needs to stay out of foul trouble, and they need to build some consistency and continuity in spreading the ball around. 72-42, the Tide fall to Hauppauge. Standout player in the last contest for the Tide, Anaya Hampton, had a big game.
Yeah, Anaya Hampton had 15 points on just 1 free throw, so a lot of field goals for Hampton. Hampton's very good at rebounding, so if she can get in the paint and box out and put up good, consistent, and easy shots, then I can see the Tide taking this game easily.
One of the things I would like to see more of from Anaya Hampton, she usually has a size advantage playing center for the Amityville Tide. But you mentioned she did have a free throw in the last game, and we've seen her before. You know, she'll get rebounds and she'll put up second and third and fourth chances. Sometimes she gets them, sometimes she's pulled offensively. I would like to see her use her size to get to the free throw line more.
Yeah, if she can generate those easy points that are just uncontested shots, we can see a lot more of a competitive game and not a repeat of what happened last time.
Jada Chapman mentioned 2 contests ago, 30 points. She's the only other Tide in double figures in the last game. She scored 10. Natalia Baptiste pretty quiet with 7 points. Janiyah Payton, who's only a sophomore, and she has shown that she can bring some energy to this team. She put up 6 points for Amityville, but I think the biggest problem, and it's one that we've seen throughout this year, is the defense, not necessarily in the paint, but on the perimeter.
Yeah, definitely. Last game, the Hop Hog actually hit over 10 threes in their matchup, and we have 5 threes from Fortune, 3 threes from another Fortune, 2 threes from Telfer. So it's just not being able to guard the perimeter leads to open shots, and it leads to what happened, which is them losing by 30.
And the game before that also, it was the same story where too many players against Comswag were getting open looks from beyond the arc, and they were converting. So we've seen them be aggressive in the paint. We've seen them be inconsistent on the glass, but certainly with Hampton down low, they have the ability to dominate in that area of the game, but they have to be stronger on the perimeter. We'll break down what this matchup today is going to look like against Eastport South Manor against the Sharks. But before we do that, Justice a little while ago had an opportunity to sit down and speak with the head coach of the Amityville Tide, Coach Sammy Perales-Holmes.
I'm here with Coach Samantha Perales-Holmes of the Amityville girls basketball team. Coach, with momentum playing a big role in basketball games, what kind of mindset or energy do you want your team to play with from the opening tip?
Yeah, we have to have a good start. Even though basketball's a game of runs, we got to start good. We got to start aggressive on offense and defense without fouling. So yeah, we definitely need to get off to a good start and then keep that momentum as we go forward.
What positives have you seen in the team recently that makes you have confidence in the direction that the team's heading?
Yeah, I think the last 2 games we showed some positive things. Our effort was better. Our focus was better. We were able to run some plays. So everything looked a little bit better. We still have to get much more better, but everything was improving.
What has been the biggest improvement since the first game of the season to now?
Effort. Consistent effort. We're still not at 100%, but we're a lot better than what we were. We're probably at given effort for the whole game, probably 65% now, which is a lot better than what we were, like I said. But yeah, just effort.
And finally, what is one key for shutting down the other team and capturing the win in tonight's matchup?
Rebounding and don't give up any fast break points. That's probably our keys.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks, Coach. We appreciate the time as always. One of the themes that she talked about, I think, goes in line with what we've been talking about. We use the term getting more people involved more consistently at the same time. She spoke about effort.
She did speak a lot about effort, and she talked about how coming out early from the first quarter with effort is key, but also maintaining that throughout the game from the first quarter to the fourth quarter all the way to the end of the game is imperative, because effort has been extremely inconsistent for this Amityville team so far throughout the season. So with consistent effort, I'm sure that we'll start to see better results in these games, closer games, more competitive games more often.
So the opponent tonight, the Eastport South Manor girls basketball team, and last year Amityville had some success against them. 2 wins, both one at home and on the road for the Tide. Last year the Warriors as they took on Eastport South Manor.
Yeah, last year they captured 2 victories. The first one being at home, they won 40-34, and the second one being away, where they won 43-31. So still close games, but they're both still wins. So with this game, it's interesting to see how trends will continue. Will the Tide be able to get another win here and keep their streak going, or will the Sharks be able to flip the script on them?
So if there is ever a game for Amityville to win, it's tonight. And one of the reasons is Eastport South Manor, they struggle scoring. So this year, they are 2-9 overall, 1-7 in league play. They've only scored 30 points or over 30 points once this entire season, and that was back on December 30th, a 32-18 win at Seneca Riches. But that is it. They have not entered the 30s at any other point this season. The Sharks are coming off a loss versus Islip, 40-26. So again, another game in which they have a very hard time with their offense. And one of the things that you see when you look up and down this team's roster, unlike Amityville, where they do have players that can go off in a particular game, the Sharks are still searching for that one player that can consistently get them in double figures.
Yeah, the Sharks are more of an all-around team where everyone just does a little bit of their part. Last game, Cole put up 5 points. We had 3 points from Langdon, 4 points from Gayer, 6 points from Tillman, 2 points from Liv Tillman, 6 points from C. So it's really an all-around effort. We don't have anyone who really is going to jump off the page at you and say, yeah, I'm going to be the one to beat you tonight. So it'll be interesting to see how the Tide plan to stop scoring from numerous players.
Home court advantage and a fast start would really go a long way in this game for the Tide. Again, the Sharks just struggle to put points on the board. And if you look even deeper at their last contest against Islip, they put up 9 points in the first quarter, which is generally considered low, but they were able to get some points on the board, and then their offense completely went ice cold.
Yeah, 0 points in the second quarter for the Sharks, which is, it's not how you win a basketball game. They had 4 points in the third quarter, and in the fourth quarter they came back and scored 13, but by that time it was too late. So it's interesting to see their defense wasn't too bad, only 40 points scored by Islip, but getting shut out in a quarter of basketball is not the way to win a contest.
So we mentioned before, this is kind of a battle for the bottom of the League 4 standings, and you know, even though this doesn't have any playoff implications moving forward, you know that there's pride on the line for both of these teams. Head coach Dave Messino for the Sharks, he knows that this series, and remember, they're going to play each other again, but this series is probably going to determine who finishes last and who doesn't. And certainly Sammy Prowse-Holmes, the head coach for the Amityville Tide, feels the same way. And I'm sure both of these coaches are instilling the importance in this game in their players. Yeah,
with Sammy Prowse-Holmes being a new coach this year, she's looking to make an impact with this Amityville Tide team. So it's not a good look to be at the bottom of the standings. So this game is very important, not only for the team, but for the coach, both coaches as well, for both organizations. And it could really build momentum to maybe even tack on a few more wins later in the season.
And we'll have to see. I mean, there's still a lot of basketball to be played here this season. Again, maybe the playoffs are out of reach, but I think for these teams, tonight's going to feel like a playoff game for them because there's definitely pride on the line. And we'll see, can Amityville win their third consecutive game against Eastport South Manor? We'll find out in just a little bit, but I have to ask you now, Justice, what are your keys for the Amityville Tide to come out on top tonight?
I think the main key for the Tide to come out on top tonight has to be offensive consistency. Going cold in certain quarters or having runs where they don't perform as well on the offensive side of the ball is not going to be the key to winning. So I think the key to winning is to stay consistent and allow for different players to score, whether it's from the arc or getting inside the paint and getting easy buckets.
Well, it should be a lot of fun. Two evenly matched teams, and we'll have to check it out. Who's going to come out in front here? Will the Tide offense get spread out? Will we see dominance from multiple players? Can Amityville keep Eastport South Manor quiet offensively, certainly behind the arc? Or will Eastport South Manor get their second league win of the year and pull off the road upset? That's coming up in just a moment. Tip-off next. Justice is going to have the call right here on the Amityville Broadcasting Network.
Growing up, some people told me I had to choose, but here's the deal. You can be great at more than one thing, and getting involved in STEM opens your world to a universe of opportunities in life.
This is my time.
Get inspired and get involved today. There are STEM programs and science centers available in your community, so be sure to check out spaceforall.us to learn more and get started.
This is my time.
Find your place in space.
This is my time.
Space for All.
We're safe. We know how that turned out. Now, they say they didn't market e-cigarettes to teens? Fact, more than 1 in 4 high school students are vaping, and 80% say their first e-cigarette was flavored. Vaping is harmful to developing brains. The reason we think vaping is safe? Marketing. Same lies, different day. Tell Big Vape to quit lying.
The waters are looking dangerous tonight. It's a girls basketball matchup between the Amityville Tide and the ESM Sharks. Both teams are looking for redemption as they both suffered losses in their last outings. The Sharks hold the edge in the standings, but the Tide is right on their heels. Will the Sharks be able to chomp through the waves, or will the surging Tide be too much for them to handle? Sharks versus Tide. Don't go anywhere as tip-off is coming up next on the Amityville Broadcasting Network.
Hi, this is Alan Hahn from ESPN Radio and MSG Networks, and you're watching the Amityville Broadcasting Network.
The wait is over. It's time for the opening tip. Amityville Tide basketball starts now on the Amityville Broadcasting Network.
Welcome to the Manor Broadcasting Network for the matchup between the Tide and the Sharks girls basketball matchup. So far, it has been a rough season for both teams, but they're both looking to turn it around this season. For the Sharks, the starting lineup will be number 3, DeCuna, number 10, Langdon, number 13, Gayer, number 14, Tillman, and number 33, Tillman as well. And for the Amityville Tide, starting will be Williams, number 2, Chapman, number 3, Aiken, number 12, Baptiste, number 24, and Hampton, number 33. So we'll see if the Tide can turn around here and get a victory on their home court.
A bit of a different look tonight, starting lineup-wise, as Mariah Williams, the junior, she's going to get a start. Jill Aiken, she's going to get a start. They've been playing really hard. They deserve some playing time. But as we talked about in the pregame, I think the key is really going to be, will their best players be their best players today?
Yeah, it'll be very important to see how their team can be consistent and perform throughout the entirety of the game. And now we're going to go to the national anthem.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light, for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. Oh, did I miss that? I think I did. Hold on, I'm gonna go. I didn't practice at all.
That is the national anthem for us. So getting started here is the matchup between the Amityville Tide and the ESM Sharks. So tip-off will begin here shortly. And just to take another look at the starting lineups for both teams, we have DeCuna, Langdon, Gayer, Tillman, and Liv Tillman. For the Sharks and for the Tide, it'll be Williams, Chapman, Aiken, Baptiste, and Hampton. So as we were saying, a little bit of a switch up here for the starting lineup, and we'll see if it'll have an effect on this game.
Yeah, it should be a great game, and two teams that on paper are pretty evenly matched, and I think that's what you're looking for. If you're a fan, you've come out tonight to watch this team play. A lot of the boys' team stuck around after their practice to root on their fellow peers here in Amityville. They have a game tomorrow, by the way. Tip-off 5:30. We'll have the coverage here on the Amityville Broadcasting Network with the pregame show at 5:15. But right now, it is all about the Tide and the Sharks, and we are just about to get set here.
We are. Tip-off coming shortly, and key to this game, as we spoke about, is going to be effort for the Tide, and it'll be Hampton and Gayer on the tip-off. And the Tide have possession. A quick pass to Williams. Williams drives, puts it to the right, and it's good. So quick bucket there from the Tide, and that makes it 2-0 here in this first quarter.
And there's that fast start that Coach Prowse Holmes wanted to see.
And it's going to be an errant pass there by the Sharks, but recovered. Ball, baseline, driving. Ball's back out to the wing. It'll be Acuna with the ball. Acuna to Langdon. Landing back to the Cunha. Sharks looking for an opening. Passes to the paint. Back out to Langdon. Langdon for three. No good. Air ball. So a missed shot there by ESM makes it Amityville ball. Williams will be the one inbounding. 7 minutes 20 seconds remaining here in this first quarter.
So an open look for Sarah Langdon from beyond the arc. She shoots up an air ball, so that works in favor of the Tide. But again, they need to do a better job on the perimeter.
They do, as Baptiste drives, shoots the mid-range jumper, off the backboard, no good. It'll be rebounded by Aiken, but it'll be stolen by Langdon. Langdon's driving now, being guarded by Chapman. Langdon, cross-court pass to Acuna. Acuna, another cross-court pass, drives in the paint, and it's good. The shot from Gayer is up, so it's now 2-2 tie game here, 6.5 to go in the first quarter. And Baptiste gets doubled, gets the ball to Williams. Williams drives again, goes up with the right, no good. Rebound Aiken, but she's out of bounds, so it'll be Sharks ball.
I like what I'm seeing from Williams. Again, she had to work her way into the starting lineup, and right off the bat, she gets her team on the board, and now she's taking charge, driving to the lane, even though they didn't come away with the bucket.
And it'll be Sharks here, looking to push the pace. They get a pass ahead and a bucket from the Sharks. That'll be number 13, Gayer. So Gayer now with 2 points.
4 points on the day.
4 points, sorry. Williams gets it into Baptiste. Pressure coming from the Sharks. Sharks still pressuring. Williams gets it past the timeline to Baptiste. Baptiste calls for the screen. Gets it, puts up the three. Just short, rebounded by Gayer. And Gayer's gonna get it to Langdon.
I like the aggression there by Baptiste. Try to get her offensive game going early.
As quick passes in, back up to the perimeter, a three-pointer. That's good. Bank three by Acuna. So 7-2 now, Sharks, with 5.5 to go in this first quarter.
And there you go once again, right? Not doing a good enough job, giving too many open looks on the perimeter for Gayer. She had 4 points all last game. She already has 4 points tonight. So this Tide team has to lock up defensively.
They do, as Williams brings it up the court again. Williams to Baptiste. Baptiste drives. Her defender falls down. She gets to the paint. Shot's no good. And it'll be a jump ball as it's Hampton tied up underneath, and it'll be the Sharks ball.
So I love the effort. I love driving in the lane. That was a great move by Baptiste. She just couldn't finish, and Hampton so aggressive under the basket. Next time that happens, it'll be possession favoring Amityville.
Ball's in the corner now. Down on the elbow, and it's going to be a foul call on Williams. So no free throws there, but it'll be inbounded.
Dangerous time early on here. He got 7 points. This is a team that scored 4 points in 2 quarters in the last game. The Sharks did against Islip. And right now, Amityville, knowing the importance of this game, does not want to fall behind big early on.
Not at all, as the ball is inbounded to Gayer. Gayer out to Acuna. Acuna for three, no good. Rebounded by the Sharks, though. Put back up, it's also no good. And Williams will come out with the ball. Williams, half court. Top of the key, Chapman. She gets to the elbow, mid-range jumper. That's good. So Chapman scores her first points of the game and makes it 7-4 Amityville with 4.5 to go in this first quarter.
That ends a 7-0 run for the Sharks.
It does, as out of bounds call. It's going to be Amityville ball, as Langdon wasn't able to stay in bounds there.
I have to say I'm impressed, and I've been impressed all season so far with the Tide's ability to break the full court press. We're not seeing it right now, but we've seen it a couple times tonight. This is something that their guards have struggled with over the last couple of seasons. We have the same guards that are here, and they have learned how to do it.
They have, as Chapman looks to go to work on her defender, gets to the paint, kicks out to Williams on the perimeter. Williams drives, tries to kick it out to Aiken. She does. Now to Chapman. Chapman with the long 2, and that's good. So 7-6 now for the Sharks. Sharks are ahead, 4.5 to go. Quick pass to Cunha to Tillman. Tillman gets it in, and that's good. So it'll be from Tillman to Gayer for more points. Gayer now has 6 points on the night, and Baptiste is being double teamed. Baptiste gets it to Williams. Williams tries to drive, gets to the paint, pass to Hampton. Hampton puts it up, no good. But it's rebounded also by Hampton. They're going to call it jump ball. So it'll be Amityville ball still, and they'll be inbounding under the basket.
And that is a weapon when Hampton is playing aggressively as Griffin comes into the game, and Baptiste will take a quick breather here. But, 7-2 a moment ago, 9-6 now with Amityville with the ball. Good job stopping the bleeding.
Quick inbound pass, looks for the shot, is Chapman, and it's no good. It's going to be an air ball, but it was last touched by the Sharks, so it'll still be Amityville ball here. And there's 7 seconds on the shot clock, so they have to get a shot up quick here. Griffin inbounding. Griffin gets to Chapman in the paint, but it's stolen by the Sharks. Fast break now for the Sharks. DeCunha's ahead of the pack. DeCunha goes up with the right. No good. Rebounded Hampton. Williams now. Williams driving. Going to work on her defender. Looking to slow it down now. Williams on the wing. Passing to Hampton, low block. Hampton, post up. No good, but the foul is called, and it's going to be on the shot, so it'll be free throws for Hampton.
And we talked about that in the pregame show, wanting to see her get to the line more. Again, a big game against Hop Hog on Monday for Hampton, 15 points, but only 1 point from the free throw line. And you see how she plays in the paint. She needs to use that aggression and get to the line. This is a really good way for the Tide to get some freebies with that clock stopped.
It is, as Hampton does miss the first one. It's 9-6 here. Sharks are up. 3 minutes to go in this first quarter. We'll see if Hampton can put some more points on the board with this free throw here. It's up. And it's just long. Rebounded by the Sharks. Quick outlet pass to DeCunha. DeCunha's running ahead of the pack. Williams there to defend. Quick bounce pass is almost stolen, but no, it's recovered by Langdon. Langdon now perimeter to DeCunha. DeCunha shot fakes, drives baseline. Looks for a risky pass. She does get it out. Now it's back out on perimeter. Quick pass to DeCunha. DeCunha with a long 2. No good. Rebounded at Aiken. And it's going to be tangled up. Another jump ball. So 3rd jump ball here of the game so far, and it'll be Sharks ball.
I have to give credit to the ball movement by the Sharks. They had a couple of good open looks, and that's because they've been able to send the ball around the perimeter from the paint, down low and out. Really good ball movement. They just need to finish.
They do, as Langdon is inbounding the ball for the Sharks. Langdon out long 2 for Tillman, or for Gayer, sorry, no good. Rebounded by the Tide. And it'll be Williams bringing the ball up again.
Williams, you can see the increase in confidence in her game.
You can, as she passes to Chapman. Chapman's shot is no good. So Chapman is one of the best scorers here for the Tide. Missed a shot there, but we'll see if she can get hot later in the game.
10 points in the last contest and 4 points here so far. She can be a little inconsistent, but if I'm her coach, I'm telling her, if you miss, you just keep shooting.
I agree, as Amityville comes with the press, but it's easily broken by the Sharks. Quick pass, mid-range jumper, no good. And it'll be rebounded by the Tide. It'll be Griffin. As Williams brings it up the court, now to Griffin again.
And it's good to see Griffin carrying the ball, too, with Baptiste on the bench. It shows you that there's trust in the coach and these players to handle the ball.
As Chapman goes up with the shot, she is fouled, so it'll be more free throws for the Tide. Last time, they weren't able to convert, but we'll see if anything will change this time.
Scoring drought over the last few minutes for both of these teams, and we're not expecting a high-scoring game here tonight, but I'm going to keep looking as we get a few substitutes here. Williams is going to take a seat for the Tide. Coming into the game for the first time, Peyton, who usually brings a lot of energy to this Tide team, but I am going to continue to look for the ability for Amityville to spread the ball around and get others involved offensively.
Aiken's also going to take a seat as Baptiste checks back into the game. And the first free throw for Chapman is up, and it's good. So 9-7 here in this first quarter. 2 minutes to go. Amityville down by 2. And Chapman is going to shoot her second free throw. The shot is up, and that's good. So Chapman converts on both of her free throws. Makes it 9-8 with 2 minutes to go in this first quarter.
Chapman with 6 points so far here in the first.
Quick pass, intercepted by the Tide. Hampton has it to Baptiste. Baptiste pushing the ball up the court, looking for the fast break. Baptiste drives, gets into the paint, Euro step. Her defender falls down, she puts up the shot, and that's good. So Baptiste looking like she's going to start getting hot here in this first quarter. 10-9, Amityville takes the lead for the first time.
Coach Messino looking for a charge on the bench there, but great job by Baptiste. She hits a wall, but pulls back and able to hit the jumper.
It will be Bloxham with the ball to D'Acuna. D'Acuna cross-court pass, mid-range jumper, and that is good. That's Delaney Campbell for the Sharks. So 10-11 now, one and a half to go in this first quarter. Baptiste with the ball, getting double-teamed. She's trapped. She has to look for someone to pass the ball to, and they're going to call a timeout. So timeout there from the Tide. They were in a sticky situation. It's nice to see that they remained to have the composure to call a timeout there.
Mike Amendondo Sr., the assistant coach for the Amityville Tide, yelling at Baptiste to call that timeout. And you know, she was pretty close by, but yeah, you're right. That's a very smart play because one more second and the officials would have blown a 5-second violation and it would have been a turnover. So you save the possession, and as we approach the 1 minute mark here in quarter one, you give yourself your team a chance to take the lead since the first possession of the game. So a really smart play, heads up. Mike Amendondo Sr. has been helping with the basketball program for a while now. He may be more well known, however, for his accolades as an assistant coach with his son, Mike Amendondo Jr. for the Amityville boys soccer team, who've had 3 state championships over the last 8 years, and it has been a fun run, but a smart timeout called by Natalia Baptiste. And we've seen what she can do offensively, defensively, and now you get to see her basketball IQ.
You do, as the ball is inbounded, and Chapman has the ball top of the key. Going to work on her defender, quick 2, no good, just long. Rebounded by Hampton. Hampton out to Peyton. Peyton for 3. That's just long. Rebounded again by Hampton. 2 rebounds for Hampton now. Chapman drives, kicks it back out to Peyton. Peyton drives, baseline, goes up with the right. It's no good, and it'll be out of bounds. It'll be Sharks' ball. So great rebounding there by Hampton, but the Tide were not able to convert.
I would like to see Hampton go up with that shot more, but she is dominating the glass. Right now, the Sharks have no answer in the paint against Anaya Hampton.
And the Sharks getting the ball past half court here. Hard defense from the Tide, as it's going to be Sharks ball as it goes out of bounds. So aggressive defense here with 36 to go in the first quarter, 11-10 Sharks. Sharks inbounding under the basket. Bad pass, Peyton with the steal. The Tide have numbers. Peyton looks to go coast to coast. She's going all the way, up with the right, no good. Rebounded Baptiste, put back up. That's also no good. And it's going to be rebounded by Gator for the Sharks. Now the Sharks have their own fast break. Pass ahead to Bloxham. Bloxham looking to go to work, defended by the Tide. 18 seconds to go in this first quarter. And it'll be D'Acuna on perimeter. She pump fakes the shot. Passed around, it's going to be Campbell with the shot. No good. 9 seconds to go here. Chapman bringing the ball up the court. 6 seconds to go. Chapman driving. She shoots the long 3. No good. And it'll be out of bounds with no time remaining on the clock. So that'll be the end of the first quarter. Thank you. And we're going to send you the break. And we'll be right back on the Amityville Broadcasting Network.
America's Vet Dogs is a national nonprofit empowering veterans, first responders, and active duty service members facing both visible and hidden disabilities through the placement of a highly trained service dog. However, recipients never bear the financial burden. You can be a part of making a meaningful difference in the lives of veterans and first responders in need. Learn more by visiting vetdogs.org.
I've always loved space and football. Growing up, some people told me I had to choose. But here's the deal. You can be great at more than one thing And getting involved in STEM opens up your world to a universe of opportunities in life.
This is my time.
Get inspired and get involved today. There are STEM programs and science centers available in your community, so be sure to check out spaceforall.us to learn more and get started.
This is my time. There ain't no doubt in my mind.
Find your place in space.
This is my time.
Space for All.
This is Natalia Baptiste, point guard for the Amityville Tide, and you are watching Tide Basketball on the Amityville Broadcasting Network.
Welcome back to the Amityville Broadcasting Network as we get started. Get ready for the second quarter here. Nice competitive first quarter for between the Tide and the Sharks. 10 points for the Tide, 11 points for the Sharks, and we'll see what trends will continue here in the second quarter.
Yeah, other than a 7-0 run by the Sharks, it was a pretty quiet offensive output for the Sharks, but that is something, if I'm Coach Perhalis Holmes, that is one of the big things that I am stressing. Do not give any momentum to the Sharks offense, a team that has been struggling the last couple years to put points on the board. Basketball is always a game of runs, and a 7-0 run against a team that has trouble scoring could really make or break this game. But like you said before, kudos to the Tide. They crawled their way back into this game, and they are still looking for their first lead since the opening possession, but they are right there as we get set to start quarter number 2.
They are, as Baptiste will be taking the ball up the court. Baptiste, the double comes quickly. She gets the ball to Hampton. Hampton to Griffin. Griffin back to Hampton now. Hampton's doubled in the paint. Hampton puts it up with the right. No good. Rebounded by Hampton again. Puts it back up. Again is no good. And it'll be the Sharks' ball as it goes out of bounds.
If she could just finish on the scoring. They have no answer for Hampton. She has been dominating in the paint.
She has been, and it's nice to see her going to work. It'll be a pass to Gayer here. Gayer puts up the shot, and that's good. So that'll be a long 2 for the Sharks, 13-10 here in the second quarter. And stolen by Gayer. Gayer goes up with the left, no good. Rebounded Baptiste. Fast break for the Tide. Baptiste pushing the ball up the court. Baptiste drives to the paint, goes up with the right, and it's good. So that'll be 13-12 now with 7 minutes to go in the second quarter.
4 points for Baptiste.
And Baptiste with the steal. Baptiste driving, gets into the paint again. Step through is no good, but the foul on the shot attempt, so Baptiste will have a chance to shoot 2 shots from the stripe.
And Baptiste pumped up and getting her teammates pumped up as well. This is how we see her play. When one part of her game does well, the rest of her game falls into place, and she is such a well-rounded player. It's that consistency that they need. She comes out, she drives and scores, comes back with a great defensive play, drives hard to the net again, gets herself to the free throw line. I'm sure what Coach Perhalis Holmes wants to see more than anything else is to see that over 32 minutes.
First free throw is no good for Baptiste, and Baptiste is a leader on this team. She's a junior, been playing here since the 8th grade, and it's very important to see her get going early in the game. As she puts up the second free throw, the Tide look to tie it up. And it's good. So tie game, 13-13 here with 7 minutes to go in the second quarter. Sharks looking to bring the ball up the court. Press from the Ville. It'll be D'Acuna getting the ball to Bloxon, but it's stolen by Hampton. And bad pass leads to Sharks retaining possession. It'll be Langdon. Langdon over to Bloxon. Bloxon back to Langdon, to D'Acuna. Pass into the paint. Bloxon's wide open. Goes up with the shot, and it's going to be a foul on Hampton. So no good from the shots, but still a foul call on Hampton there.
Hampton smiling, and both benches applauding that. Obviously, the officials called the foul. I think if you asked anybody wearing a white jersey, they'd say she swatted that away cleanly. It was close, but either way, again, the Sharks cannot get anything going in the paint because of the defense and the dominance on the glass that we are seeing from Hampton as the first free throw doesn't go by Bloxon, as she's looking for her first points of the day. But let's see if Amityville can turn this around, that momentum from that play, and take it to the other end of the court.
Second free throw is also no good from Bloxon. It'll be rebounded by Chapman, but it's going to be a double dribble call on Chapman. She's not happy with that call, but we can see it from here. That was definitely a double dribble.
Yeah, it was the right call. She had it, and she lost the handle, but it was not as a result of the Sharks actually making contact with the basketball, more just from the pressure of the defense. that caused the double dribble.
Acuna with the ball, being pressured by Baptiste now. Baptiste almost falls down, and the ball will be swung around to Bloxon. Bloxon now to Langdon. Langdon back to Acuna, top of the key. Now back to Langdon on the wing. Top of the key again, Acuna. Around to the wing, and it'll be a foul call. So no free throws. It'll just be inbounded under the basket. And the foul's on Peyton, number 1. It'll be Langdon inbounding the ball for the Sharks. Gets the ball in. Jumper is good. That is Tori Tillman of the ESM Sharks, putting the Sharks up by 2, 15-13 here with 6 minutes to go in the first quarter. As a quick pass to Peyton have the Tide back in the opposing half.
Tori Tillman, a 9th grader, is playing with her twin sister, Liv Tillman.
Baptiste now with the ball on the wing. Chapman in the corner, quick pass to Hampton. Hampton almost loses it, still has it, backs down her defender, goes up, and off the backboard. No good by Hampton. So still 15-13 here with 5 minutes and 45 seconds to go in the second quarter.
So yeah, Hampton really doing a great job there. She's backing in her opponent. She didn't rush. I like that she was showing more patience. Again, if she could finish, this is a different game right now.
Completely different game. Langdon with the ball, top of the key, being guarded by Chapman. Peyton is guarding Bloxon now on the wing. Bloxon goes to work, gets past Peyton, but it's stolen. Peyton recovers it. Peyton bringing the ball up for the Tide. Peyton tries to make the pass to Griffin, but it's going to be out of bounds. Last touch by the Sharks, so it'll still be Amityville ball.
Both teams playing very well defensively. I like the fact that the Tide have been putting some pressure on in the backcourt. They haven't made it easy for the Sharks to get the ball up the court, but they have been able to do it so far despite the effort. It seems like when the Sharks have open looks, they're converting, so kudos to them for taking advantage of those opportunities, but the Tide really have provided some smothering defense and have not made it easy for the Sharks. But the Sharks have done the same thing, and that's why neither team has been able to take off on the offensive side.
Baptiste, quick 3 from the inbound. No good. It'll be rebounded by Langdon. So Langdon bringing the ball up the court now for the Sharks, guarded by Baptiste. Gets past Baptiste, makes a quick pass to Acuna. Acuna, back to Langdon. Langdon around midcourt. Langdon surveying the defense. She drives on Baptiste. Baptiste almost gets the steal. Langdon puts up the shot. No good. Rebounded, and it's good. So off the offensive rebound, Tori Tillman gets another bucket, and it's now 17-13 Sharks.
Back-to-back points for Tori Tillman as Baptiste went for the steal, missed it, and as a result, the Sharks had the open look.
Chapman now. Ball, pass into Hampton. Hampton in the paint, low block. Going to work on her defender, puts it up. Just barely misses, puts it up again. Off the rebounds, also no good. So it'll be Sharks with possession as they look for the fast break.
Hampton showing a little frustration after those 2 misses.
Yeah, and it's Acuna now, swinging the ball around to the corner. Shot fake, drives, and tangled up down below. Jump ball, it's going to be Sharks ball. Inbounding under the basket. That's Tillman, number 14.
But I love the fact that she doesn't take it to the defensive end, as again, it was that effort that stopped the play, and it's Sharks ball just because it's their turn on the jump ball. But Hampton, again, very heads-up play defensively.
Langdon inbounding the ball, gets a quick inbound pass in to Campbell. Campbell puts up the shot, no good. Gets her own rebound though, puts it up again, no good. Another shot is up, that's also no good from the Sharks, and it'll be out of bounds. So Tillman and Campbell dominating the paint there offensively, but they were not able to convert. So it's 17-13. Sharks have the lead with 4 minutes to go in this second quarter.
Yeah, Hampton yet to get on the score sheet as she finally gets a breather. Mariah Williams comes into the game, a well-deserved breather for Hampton, but she's probably taken 10 shots this game. 15 points in the last contest, nothing to show for it yet tonight.
Williams drives, hits to Griffin for the corner 3. Griffin off the backboard is no good. And it's going to be rebounded by the Sharks. 3:45 to go here in the second quarter. Sharks are up by 4 as Acuna has the ball on the wing.